it's kind of it looks like he has slimmed down for this fight.
He slimmed down quite a bit for this fight, and they've tried that before. I remember when I used to train him here, and then they took him to Las Vegas to put him with a dietitian because they wanted him to be skinnier and more appealing to the public. And I says, yeah, but the thing is, he doesn't fight that well when he's skinny. I like him. I like the chubby one. I do. I mean, honestly, he fights better. He's used to it. He won the world title doing it, and now you want to change something all of a sudden. And he's been through it before, and it's something that didn't work, and he knows that for a fact. He's already been through that, and so when I saw him, how skinny he was, I was a little shocked, and that's maybe why I favored the other guy a little bit more than the first time.
It's interesting because obviously the old cliche of if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. So, but what possible reason could he have then for kind of, because he does look like not a dramatic amount of weight, but you can visibly see that he's lost weight. So, what would be the idea behind it going into that when obviously the first time round it was successful for him?
I think the people in this camp want him to be more appealing to the public, and I say screw the public. I mean, fight where you're comfortable at. Fight what you're used to, you know. And he's always been a chubby guy kid, and but he's always been a real good kid and a good fighter. And I think it was a mistake for him to lose weight.
And
those are the words of Freddie Roach. Of course, we know, guys, that Freddie Roach once did train Andy Ruiz, so he has good insight on how Ruiz performs, what he's capable of. He also said that he has some of the most beautiful combinations any big guy has ever thrown, that he's ever seen. And before we get started, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And this news from Freddie Roach, it's similar to what a lot of people have said in regards to Ruiz losing a massive amount of weight or the weight that he's lost, okay? Because we don't know the weight amount. We don't know if it's 30 pounds. We know his head trainer, Manny Robles, said it was 30 pounds. You know, he could have gained some, then lost some. You know, because, you know, I mean, when you win the title, it's something you never done before, you know. He might have wilded out a little bit. He might have ate a little bit, you know. But at the same time, the amount of weight that has said that he's lost has been around that number. Now, Freddie Roach goes and says, you know, he was shocked. He's seen Andy Ruiz before when they tried that before. And when they tried that before, it didn't work. He wasn't comfortable fighting. He wasn't as good as he would have been as a bigger fighter. Right? He said when he tried that before, they did that for another reason instead of how good he was. And I always question that. When I start hearing about Andy Ruiz losing weight, I question why. Why are you doing that? You had enough muscle mass. The whole idea was to add weight to Anthony Joshua. I get it. Anthony Joshua is losing weight because he needs to lose weight, because that's not his ideal weight. But Andy Ruiz's ideal weight is the type of weight that he had on him. He's always been a chunky kid from damn near from birth. He's never going to be skinny. He's not meant to be skinny. But that doesn't take anything away from his fighting ability. I think that's like a confidence thing because you don't like how people used to pick on him. And that's another thing Freddie Roach mentioned. People used to pick on him because he was chunky, he was chubby, he was whatever you want to call it, flabby. But he could fight and they couldn't deal with him. And these are the words from Freddie Roach. They talked all kinds of stuff about him and joked and laughed. But at the end of the day, they couldn't do anything with him when they jumped in the ring with him. That's a blessing. That's an anomaly. And like Freddie Roach said, they tried this before and he didn't do so well. because he wasn't used to fighting at that weight. Okay. So based on what Freddie Roach said, now Freddie Roach, he did say, well, I think now I'll favor the other guy because Joshua was meant to stay at a certain weight. He wasn't meant to bulk up. And the ironic thing about it is Joshua gained a lot of weight to look a certain part, right? He did it for the same reason Andy Ruiz is trying to lose weight. He did it for a certain type of image booster, kind of like a rock looking, a specimen, of a guy. You know what I mean? Get bulky, get, like he's going to be some type of TV movie actor or something like that. I think he just liked the idea of that, that strong, physically fit, bodybuilding like type fight. But bodybuilders don't fight well because they're not meant to have that amount of muscle in the ring, because that particular person wasn't naturally at that weight anyway. Okay, so it was one of those things where what Freddie Roach is saying, it's the weight loss is not going to help. It's not going to help Andy Ruiz, and he's favoring the other guy. And I think before I do my fight study and fight prediction on this fight, I'm putting all this in consideration. I got to do a little bit more research first on this topic. But if someone that used to train Andy Ruiz can see that, just like he saw that Anthony Joshua had too much muscle, and he said that way before he got beat. Okay, he didn't like all that muscle mass. Get rid of it. And that's one of those crazy things, that one thing you can change about a guy can affect his whole fighting style. You know what I mean? And now they're starting to implement it, which is great, which is a good thing. Thank you, Freddie Roach, right? That was the best tip that he could have possibly gave them in their camp, or to Anthony Joshua. Because we all know Anthony Joshua reached out to Freddie Roach, But yes, again, here's another characteristic and another example of someone saying, hey, I don't like it. I'm shocked. He shouldn't lose that amount of weight, And maybe this is my only thing. The only reason I see them probably trying to lose weight, besides looking a certain way, is because when Anthony Joshua hit him with that left hook, uppercut, left hook combination, it did knock him on his back. Now, who's to say that still can't happen? We got to see on the day. But I would think he took punches well because he did have that amount of weight on him. That's my whole thing about that breakdown with these two guys fighting. You got a taller, leaner guy. Now you got a versus on the first, you had a taller guy, 250, then a shorter guy that was heavier. So you had kind of like an object that was very, very difficult to move. In other words, Joshua, couldn't hurt this guy like he hurt all his other opponents. And that might have been, that could have been to chin though, because Ruiz, we know, has a chin. He took Joshua's punches well, right? Especially after the third. So he took those punches well. So it'll come down to that as well. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Freddie Roach's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.